With a bizarre situation taking place in AEW recently during the CM Punk drama and more, this is Wrestling Rambles. My name is John, and you're watching the Wrestling Report. Asked about the reactions he gets to his entrance theme, Seth Rollins told GQ, "Oh, hands down. I mean, look, you want to go back a dozen years, it probably rivals the energy of Rollins' iconic WWE faction, The Shield's entrance. There's something special about coming in right through the people that really riles you up because you're just in there with it. But for me, as a solo performer, the energy and the relationship I have with the audience at the moment is on another level. It's 13 years into my WWE career now. It's something I could have never expected. So it's really fantastic to be at this point, to be having so much fun, and to feel like everyone's out there having fun with you. As soon as the Burn It Down hits your ears, it just feels like a party out there. And I'm very, very, very humbled to be at the center of that." Explaining why the black and gold iteration of NXT was successful, Tyler Breeze told Agents of Wrestling, "It's very cool. Very, very cool. I think it was like a genuine underground feeling to where people were. I don't know. I don't want to say they're looking for the alternative or something like that. I think we were new. I think at that time it was a perfect mix of all these people who you would see them kind of blossom into FTR, Sasha, Charlotte, Bayley, Becky, like all these people that obviously they went on and have had hell of careers. From the main event to the start to the tag division to the women's division to everything, and all of them were an opener or main event or wherever you need them, but they were all acts that the fans cared about. It just kind of took off with such a good group of people that it was awesome to be a part of, man. The atmosphere was just so cool and very hard to replicate, I think." Recalling his loss to Roman Reigns at Elimination Chamber, Sami Zayn said this about it on the Out of Character podcast. "Getting there for a match where everyone wants you to beat Roman and getting an audience in that frenzy and experience an audience like that and being a part of a story like that, very few people on earth can say they've been a part of a story like that. It enabled me to penetrate the hearts of so many fans to where now I'm in their good graces regardless of the storyline that I'm in next. They love me because I made them feel all these different feelings, and that means a lot to me." During that same interview, Sami Zayn mentioned this regarding the condition of his elbow. "But I've been battling a lot of little nagging injuries for some time, but nothing to the extent that would put me on the shelf. So my elbow was part of a nagging injury that's just kind of gotten a little bit worse after this past week's heinous attacks by JD McDonough, for which there will be revenge. So maintaining your health and addressing those nagging injuries, I think that'll become more important, but I still managed to give you a long-winded answer to a very easy question. My elbow's all right, it'll be okay. It's not great, but it will be okay." Following his U.S. title win, Rey Mysterio has made history with Wrestling Stats and Info, writing, "Superstars who had a championship reign while on the WCW roster in the 1990s and also had a championship reign while on the WWE roster in the 2020s so far, Goldberg and Rey Mysterio. Will any other WCW alum make the list this decade?" On the Should I Keep This Podcast, AEW referee Bryce Remsburg noted how a hip-hop duo were turned down by the promotion for an offer to debut, saying, "About a month or so ago, AEW was going to Detroit, and the Insane Clown Posse, who were still a thing in 2023, maybe not in their glorious or gory years, had reached out through an intermediary asking about being part of the AEW event in Detroit. I remember they were just trying to get on the show. I was on this corporate call, and Tony Khan, someone was like, 'Do we need ICP in Detroit?' Tony said, 'Yeah, I'll have to think about that one.' He was politely saying no." Despite her returning to WWE programming, Dakota Kai said this on Twitch regarding her recovery from an ACL injury. "There is a misconception with me being on SmackDown. I'm not healed. You'll probably notice that I'm not really involved with anything that requires activity. Let's put it that way. I still have just under 6 months to go before I'm actually cleared." When it comes to what could be next for Lacey Evans following her departure from WWE, Ringside News wrote that during Wrestling Observer Radio, Brian Alvarez noted that Lacey Evans will be opening up a diner now. She's no longer with WWE, so she has a lot more time to focus on that business. Then again, she hasn't been working much for WWE in the first place. Staying on the topic of Lacey Evans, this was said regarding her previous contract situation, as Ringside News wrote. During Wrestling Observer Radio, Dave Meltzer confirmed that Lacey Evans was not released from her contract. That being said, she let her contract expire, and neither side was able to come to an agreement for a new deal. Of course, this means that she will not be restricted with a non-compete clause. Speaking to sports media, ESPN's president of content, Burke Magnus, was asked how the company feels about its relationship with WWE, as he said, "It wouldn't be a pod without you without a WWE question, so I do appreciate that. By the way, I'm overdue. I'm overdue to go to an event. I haven't been in a little while, but yes, he jokingly responded when it was mentioned that Nick Khan could get him tickets. I think it continues to be, I guess from a glass half full perspective, I'd say I believe our companies. And this changed a couple of years ago, so this is not breaking news, but I believe our point of view towards WWE as a potential distribution outlet for their events. I think we passed that a long time ago, and I think we're now in the bucket of, hey, if their rights are available and there's a deal for us that works and a deal for them that works with us, I think it's certainly a possibility. There's no hesitation anymore from a brand perspective or from a live event versus scripted. Their fans and our viewers, there's tremendous overlap, so to me, it's just about the business of it, and is there something that works? I may have said this to you last time we talked, but to their credit, they run a 52-week-a-year business, right? And I'm thinking, well, let me start from the linear perspective. 52 weeks a year is impossible for us to do on almost any configuration based on the other rights that we have. So that actually cuts against us from a linear perspective, but on the digital side, if we were to be in business with them on a streaming or direct-to-consumer or distribution or a pay-per-view distribution or other such thing, I think that's more easily achievable, and they have a great product. Well, I'm not talking to WWE, so I'll just leave it at that. Known to WWE fans as Sunny, Tammy Sytch was recently seen in court following her arrest back in May of last year due to a DUI manslaughter charge, as she is facing a maximum sentence of 25 years in prison. Mentioning the situation in AEW of having Dynamite, Rampage, and ROH matches taped on the same night, it was said on Wrestling Observer Radio that this is bizarre. I don't know what's going on because Ring of Honor is usually taped on Saturdays with Collision. They taped Ring of Honor tonight after Dynamite. I don't know why we have a Collision taping this Saturday. I guess maybe it's to get ahead because the next week there's not going to be any time because there's no Saturday taping. So maybe they were just trying to get ahead. I get that. On the taping, Ryan Nemeth wrestled. The main event was Zack Sabre Jr. against Christopher Daniels. Colt Cabana appeared as a second for Brandon Cutler. He's doing a thing where him and Brandon Cutler are together as a unit. All of these guys are never going to be on Ring of Honor again. They're introducing all of these guys. Colt Cabana ain't going on. I guess they could do that, tape some ROH stuff on Wednesdays regularly, but that makes it even more bizarre. All of those guys, wasn't there somebody else too? It was Brandon Cutler, Christopher Daniels, Colt Cabana, Zack Sabre. Just weird. Just really weird. Especially Ryan Nemeth. Blake Christian beat Brandon Cutler, but Colt Cabana was out with Brandon Cutler, which is the first time Colt Cabana has been. Colt Cabana had been an agent for Ring of Honor, and then he was pulled from being an agent for Ring of Honor, so June 17th, because of everyone knew it was going to happen, so he had been an agent for Dynamite. So they're taping Ring of Honor, and he's on the taping doing a comedy bit with Brandon Cutler. So it is weird to say the least, because again, none of these people are allowed to work Saturdays, so why are they being in Ring of Honor when they're not going to be back? Maybe their matches will always be taped on Wednesdays. The people who have had issues with Punk have been banned from Collision, and the rest of Ring of Honor will be taped on Saturday. That makes for a long night on Wednesdays because they're already taping Rampage in 2 hours of Dynamite. So adding Ring of Honor this week because again there's no Collision taping next Saturday because of All In. So they do have to tape ahead. But the idea of taping Ring of Honor on a Wednesday as a regular rule, that doesn't make sense. That's what Saturday's for, is to tape Ring of Honor because there's no other third hour of production there where there already is on Wednesday. So I guess we'll have to wait and see after England how this all plays out. Everything before England is obviously to get as much content as possible because they don't have that one taping. Because next week there's going to be no Ring of Honor tapings at all in theory because they're taping next week in Duluth, Georgia. They're going to go live with Dynamite and then they're going to be taping Rampage and then Collision. So it's a 5-hour show. So there's going to be no time for Ring of Honor next week. So I get them taping Ring of Honor this week. But anyway, we'll have to watch and see how this all plays out. But this was so weird. And this was your pro wrestling news update. I hope you're all having a great day. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see y'all later.